To be here and to be moving together. Let's start on your back. Please feel free to put something under your head if you still tend to thrust your ribs a bit, which it takes sometimes years or longer to allow those ribs to relax down. Maybe something under your shoulder blades too, like a towel or a blanket, to just get a little bit height. We're not trying to force our ribs down. We want them naturally to settle down, and so you'll get better results if you support them where you want them to be rather than I'm always just pushing them down. So something really to consider, especially if you have any kind of issues or injuries that you're working through. But from here, let's walk our legs all the way together, big toes touching, and we'll hug our knees in. Try to think of your tailbone going one way as your knees come in the other way, and tap your feet down. And so we'll start with just several of these with our legs all the way together. Try to relax any excessive clenching, tuning into your breath. And then from here, we'll walk our feet open to hip distance apart, and we'll do the same thing. And then walk your feet open another step. And so knees and feet are a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Keeping that natural lift, that natural curve behind your lower back. And then let's walk our feet even a little bit wider and hug in here. All right, bring your legs back to hip distance, knees in, and draw a circle on your lower back. Really start to tune into your breath here. Feel your inhales, let go of your exhales. And then pause and go in the other direction. Starting out with a little bit of a lower back massage. And then bring your legs back to center, place your feet down, and we'll lift one knee up. Same thing, tailbone going the opposite direction, and extend and bend. Notice as you extend and bend, does your leg really want to go forward? Does it really want to go away from, or that would, I guess that would be forward, that would be back towards you, or forward towards you back. I guess it could be either, but you're just trying to extend in one straight line to the best of your ability. As you extend and bend. And then we'll switch. Put your right foot down, lift your left knee up, and extend and bend. And it's okay if it doesn't straighten all the way. You might notice one side's different than the other. Like for me, this side is much harder to extend all the way. Just be patient, breathe into it. You don't want to force anything, because if you force, then the force usually goes to your joint. Same thing if you start to get tired, the force starts to go more to your joint. So that's why it's better to rest and to slowly adapt your body. All right, from there, extend both legs long, reach your arms overhead. They can be slightly in the air. Actually, it's gonna be better if they're slightly in the air. And then from here, we're gonna rotate our arm bones and our leg bones. So rotate your arms all the way one way, all the way the other way, as your legs rotate in and out. Breathing here as you feel the length along the sides of your body. Okay, you're going to leave your left leg and arm as they are and scoot your right leg and arm out to the right. So your right leg and arm are going to stay out to the right, and you're going to walk your left arm and leg over and then go straight up and down with them. So walking your left arm and leg over and then move them back to where they were. Reach over and back and reach over and back. All right, let's switch. Right leg and right arm straight overhead and straight down in line with your hip. Stretch your left leg and your left arm out to the left, and then keep your left arm and left leg and move your right arm and leg over and back and over and back, and do that a few more times. And then walk both your arms and legs back to center. Open your arms out to the sides, palms up. Bend both of your knees and lift your feet up into the air, 90-degree angle. And then you're just going to do some rolls onto the right hip and come back nice and slowly and over to the left hip. And return nice and slowly and at your own pace, side to side. Letting your breath flow here. You can play with different ranges of motion, like sometimes you can let your ribs roll up and go further over and come back slowly. You can also try to keep your rib cage all the way down and just take your hips side to side. Whichever you'd like to play with, do a few more each side. And then come back to center, grab your strap, wrap it around the ball of your right foot. Extend your left leg long, reach that leg up into the air, tilt your tailbone down, feel the natural lift of your waist. You can play with different heights of your legs. Really pay attention though to the position of your pelvis. And then take that right leg across the body to the left. And then open it out to the right. Keep tilting the tailbone down. And let's switch legs. So wrap the strap around the ball of your left foot. Extend your right leg nice and long. First thing to check is the tilt of the pelvis. I can feel my pelvis is slightly tucked under here. My knee is slightly bent. So untucking. Another thing to be aware of is after you get really good at untucking, do your hips tend to, see how my hips, like one hip's higher than the other? Try to equalize the hips so you can feel, not only you want your pubic bone down, but you can feel your ASIS bones. Are they even with each other, or is one sliding up higher than the other? So that's just another tool to pay attention to. And then take your left leg over to the left, any amount. And bring your left leg up and open it out to the left any amount. Keep checking on the tilt of the pelvis, the hike of the pelvis. That's what it's called if you tend to hike one hip higher than the other. All right, pull back on the ball of that foot and bring it up. Bend both of your knees. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Let that right thigh drop open. Center your hips and then lift and tap down. Okay, let's switch sides. Ankles hip distance apart. Cross your left ankle over. Gently flex that ankle. Feel if you're rolling to one side of your hips or the other. Try to center and lift and lower. All right, uncross that ankle, walk your feet nice and wide, and then let your knees roll in towards each other. If your knees don't roll in easily, let the outer edges of your feet roll up. But if they roll in pretty easily, you can keep the outer edges of your feet down as long as it doesn't bother anywhere in any of your joints, your ankles, your knees, your hips. You can play with walking your feet even farther away from each other, and then reach your arms out to the sides. We'll do palms face up, or with palms face up, just tip your thumbs to the floor. So with your palms face up, don't tip your thumbs to the floor by turning your hands over. So keep your palms up and just tip your thumbs to the floor, and then circle your arms up and down by your sides. Reach out through your upper back and your chest muscles as you go up and down. Check in with grounding your feet if that's your choice, relaxing all around your thighs, your buttocks muscles, breathing here. You can check that slight tilt of the tailbone down. And a few more up and down here with the arms. All right, next time your arms come in, bring them all the way together. Try to touch your elbows and the pinky finger side of your hands, and then bend your elbows to about 90 degrees. Open your thighs up, bring the soles of your feet together, your knees open out to the sides, and then with your palms facing flat towards the floor, reach overhead and bring your elbows back down. So you're not going this way overhead, even though that is one movement. You're trying to go straight to the wall behind you, and you're trying to do as far as you can without your elbows coming apart or keeping your elbows as close as they started, and also not lifting your ribs up. So keeping the ribs down as you go up and down here. Now go overhead and kind of let maybe even your fingers rest on the floor or as far as you can go, and hold. Pull your feet away from each other with your knees dropping open, and point and flex your ankles. Point and flex, point and flex, and point and flex, and then bring your arms back up and lower your hands down, lift your knees up, and then from there you can either rock up or roll to one side and press yourself up. Have a seat, crossing your right ankle in front of your left ankle. Try to tilt your pelvis as upright as possible, and then circle your torso around your legs. Taking your time, feeling and breathing. All right, remember which direction you were circling, so you can go the opposite direction in a moment. Hold center, interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom, press away, gently spread your thumbs away from each other and back toward you. As you press away, turn and look over your right shoulder and turn and look over your left shoulder. And do that a few times side to side. Chin parallel with the floor. Relaxing your forehead. Any unnecessary clenching in the jaw, and then bring your head back to center, release your hands, and circle in the opposite direction. Sometimes smaller circles, sometimes larger circles. Sometimes you can go a little faster, but definitely sometimes a little bit slower. All right, let's switch the crossing of our legs. So left ankle in front, sitting up nice and tall. And sometimes to remember, I first go in the direction of my front leg. And then pause, interlace left pinky finger on the bottom, press away, spread your thumbs out and back. Notice if your arms are up here and your shoulders are tense, and just relax your shoulders down a little bit. And from here, we'll do side to side with our neck. Take your time, pause for a moment, let things soften. And then bring your head up and let's circle in the opposite direction. All right, make your way onto your knees. We're going to do a lunge with our back leg in 3 different angles. So first one with your right leg forward is your left ankle is going to line up right behind your knee. Check in with the twist of your hips. Do your hips always tend to twist one way or the other? Line your hips up, and it's a good tool to feel across the front of your pelvis. Get familiar with your ASIS bones, because those are your measurement tool. You can kind of run your hand across and see if they feel even. And then from here, with our back leg straight behind our knee, you can work with the top of your foot down or tuck your toes under, and you're gonna reach your left arm straight out to the left, and then you're gonna reach that arm across your body and open up, and reach across and open up, and reach across and open up, and reach across and open up. And then you're gonna take that back foot a little bit in. Now, if there's any discomfort pulling on your knee here, definitely shift, maybe put a little cushioning under there, circle that arm up and down by your side, and arm circles up and down. Doing that a couple more times. All right, now you're gonna put that foot back to center and you're gonna take it a little bit out to the side. A little goes a long way. Again, make sure there's no discomfort at all in your leg. With your arm by your side, palm facing forward, pull back and relax. All right, let's switch sides. Bring that foot back to center first. Step your right leg back. Step your left foot forward. Line up your ankle right behind your knee. And it's always good to check if most people's leg favors going in a little bit. So lining that up. And then we'll start with our right arm out to the right and reach across and out to the side. Pubic bone presses forward. You can check that alignment of your hips. All right, slide that right foot a little bit to the left and then circle your arm up and down. Please adjust your knee if there's any discomfort or it just doesn't feel right at all. All right, next time your arm's by your side, scoot that foot back to center, take it a little bit out to the right, steady feet, and arm swings back and relax, and back and relax. I could definitely spend more time in this rotation. All right, bring that ankle straight behind your knee and tuck your back toes under and push down to come on up to stand. Okay, from standing, let's go right into a pelvic list. So can you do it without a block? A cork block is gonna be a little bit more steady than a foam block. Put your right foot up, outer edge of the foot straight, heel on the block. It's okay if the toes hug off. And then your other foot hangs and you're letting that hip gently go out to the side and pressing down and hugging the hip in. The hip slowly goes out and press down and hug in. The hip slowly goes out, press down and hug in, and the hip slowly goes out and press down and hug in. So by the way, when my hip is going out and my foot looks like it's touching the floor, it's really not, like it's very light. I'm not putting my foot down on the floor. The leg is hanging the whole time. And keep in mind when we're doing balancing stuff, we want to keep the pressing down and the hugging in of the hip so the other leg can easily float up off the floor. Let's switch sides. Heel up. It's okay if toes hang up. Outer edge of the foot straight. Push down through that hip. Let your other foot hang and left hip goes out, pressing down and hugging it. And the right leg is just hanging and going along for the ride. All the work is in the standing leg. All right, from there, put your foot down. Doesn't take a lot of those to start to feel it and wake up the hips. You can always do more as time goes on, but having that skill now, we're going to also add in not only the pressing down, but be conscious of not tucking your pelvis under. It's very common when people march that there's a tuck, their upper body leans back and their thigh goes forward. Try to actually keep your hips over your heels, and it's okay if you feel like your torso leans forward a little bit. So marching side to side without leaning back. And breathing. Take your time, feel your feet, weight in the heel, ball of the foot active. And now let's switch our march to wider out to the side. If you get any cracking or popping like I just did, don't take your leg quite so far out. Still had popping that time on that side. All right, let's go across in front. Push down, across in front, and tap. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Oh, excuse me. All right, set yourself up in a calf stretch with the ball of the right foot up, the heel down. I'm gonna mute this for just a second and blow my nose. Always good to hold the calf stretch for a little bit longer, but you can add in a couple steps forward and back here. We've been doing these the last couple weeks. Try to really press down through the right hip so the left leg can swing through and back a little bit smoother. And then you can either just stay with your foot forward and take a few nice breaths here. Oh, that feels really good today. You can also push down through the right hip and turn it into a top of the foot stretch. So a calf stretch with a top of the foot stretch. But of course, because your top of the foot stretch is back, it's not hitting your calf muscles in quite the same way, but it's a really nice variation sometimes. Or you can step off, since you've been holding that calf stretch for a while, you can step off and just do the top of the foot stretch. All right, let's switch sides. So bring your left foot up, heel down. Outer edges of the feet straight. You can step your outside foot forward any amount and hold here. Check that habit of hips thrusting forward and upper spine slightly leaning back. It's so subtle in most people, but it's so common. I see this all the time. If you look it feels like you're standing up straight because your shoulders and your head are back, but if you look in the mirror, your shoulder ends up behind your ankle. So by backing your thigh bones up and tilting your torso forward, then your shoulder lines up over your ankle. Now what happens when a lot of people do this is this happens, and then you have to slide your head back a little bit. But keep working on it. If you're a rib thruster and you tend to lean back, back your hips up, bring your shoulders a little bit. It's very helpful to check yourself in the mirror, push down through that left leg, and smooth steps forward and back, keeping the hips squared as you smoothly swing that right leg forward and back. And you can either keep that foot forward and hold, or push down and turn it into your top of the foot stretch on this side. Even here are the hips thrusting, back your hips up so your hips are over your heel. Breathing here. Relaxing any excessive clenching. All right, and then untuck the top of the foot, step off of your calf stretch, and from the top of your mat, feet closer to straight, outer edges of your feet, ankles closer to hip distance. Let's sit back, keep sliding your shins back, keep checking if knees collapse in or out. Center your knees over your ankles. And then let's turn this into a half forward fold. 2 straight legs, slide down, rotate your pelvis, and slide back up. And slide down, thigh bones slightly moving back, heels as wide as pinky toes, and slide up. Maybe rotating the thigh bones into neutral. Next time you fold, sit back into that chair pose. Hands to the floor or to a block or to 2 blocks if you have them. Right foot stays forward, left foot steps back, and then walk halfway around to the left. Parallel your feet, nice and wide stance with your arms out to the sides. Sit back into a wide squat. Reach your right arm over and open. Reach your left arm over and open. Press up, walk your feet into 3. Sit back here, circle your arms up and down. Press up, walk into 2. Sit your hips back here. Bring your hands to your knees. Reach your arms up. Tap your hands down. Push up. Walk into 1. Ankles hip distance apart. Sit back. Slide your arms back. Relax your arms down. Press up here. Outer edges of feet closer to straight. Ankles closer to hip distance. Push down through your right leg. Bend your left heel in. And lower. And you can either put your foot down or keep it hanging. Bend in and extend. Bend heel towards the buttocks and extend. Bend in and extend. Put that edge of the foot straight down. Push down through the left hip. Right heel bends in. You can touch it down or keep it hanging. Bend in and extend. Upper body relaxed. Bend in and extend, and bend in and extend. Lower that foot down. Push down through the right hip. Turn your left toes slightly out to the left. Bend your heel in towards your buttocks and lower down. So it's kind of going across towards the opposite buttocks cheek. Same thing, you can touch the foot down or you can keep balancing on that one leg. And put that foot down, edge of the foot straight. Turn your right foot out a little bit. Press down through the left hip. Bend in and extend. Breathing here. All right, edge of the right foot straight. Now pigeon toe your left foot slightly. Push down through the right hip. And when you bend in, it's going out to the side slightly. Breathing here. And put that foot down. Pigeon toe your right foot slightly. Push down through your left hip and bending in. And you can tap down or just let it hang when you extend. Watch that tension creeping in the upper body. All right, ankles hip distance apart. Sit back into your chair squat, palms face forward, pull your arms back, maybe squat your hips a little lower, back them up before you press up. Walk your feet open to 2 and squat back, hands to the knees, arms reach up in front, maybe hips drop down a little lower as you back your hips up, press up to stand and walk open to 3. Sit your hips back, maybe they drop down a little bit lower, back them up, circle your arms up, circle your arms down. Keep your hips back as you press up, walk your feet open to 4, sit your hips back, maybe they drop a little lower, and right arm reaches across and open, and left arm reaches across and open. Press up here, turn your right toes out 90 degrees, bend into your knee for a warrior 2 stance. I'm going to walk my stance a little wider because I want to bend my knee a little bit more. And then from your warrior 2, inhale, reverse warrior, reach up, lengthen, slowly straighten your right leg, reverse triangle. And then keeping both legs very straight, tip over into your triangle pose. Feel the weight in your heels, press down gently through the fronts of your feet. And then bend your right knee, hand or elbow to the knee, top arm reaches up or overhead for side angle pose. Breathing here. And pull yourself up. All right, re-parallel your feet, rotate your pelvis, folding over your thighs. Take a breath here, and then walk back around to your right foot at the front of the mat. Slowly lower your left knee down, maybe put some cushion under your left knee, stand up in your low lunge, keep your pubic bone pressing forward and lift and tap. Again, extra cushion, slightly adjust your knee, maybe need to be closer to hip distance apart. Do not do anything that bothers the joint, and lift and tap and lift, lift and tap, squaring your hips and lift and tap. And how about lift and hold, holding, breathing, pubic bone presses forward and lower down, and then from there with your back toes tucked under, push down to step up to the top of the mat and come around to the other side. And feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. On this side, we'll go right into a half forward fold, maybe working on neutral thigh bone rotation. Remember, you always want outer edges of the feet straight first, and then sit back here into your chair pose and fold to the floor or to a block or to blocks underneath your hands. Keep your left foot forward, step your right leg way back, hands or blocks come inside your left foot, and then walk halfway around to the right and parallel your feet, back your weight up into the heels, and then from there, sit back into a really wide squat. Maybe your hips go a little lower and do a little pulse here, like an inch or two up and down. And then press yourself up and walk your feet into 3. Sit your hips back here, slide your shins back, maybe hips a little lower, and a very small, slow and controlled pulse of your hips. And then press on up and walk your feet into 2 and sit your hips back, maybe hips a little lower and a little pulse of your hips here. Shoulders slightly above the hips, breathing. And press up, and we'll walk into 1, ankles hip distance apart, and sit your hips back here. Hips drop a little lower and maybe a little pulse here, breathing. Try to feel like equal weight on both heels of your feet. Press on up. All right, ankles hip distance apart, push down through that right hip, bend the left knee, and little pulses here, back. Very tiny. How about turning that thigh out so the heel goes in, and little pulses here. How about turning that thigh so the foot goes out slightly, and little pulses here. I just noticed that I was gripping my toes just the tiniest bit, which what does that indicate? More use of the front of the leg, so I was trying to back my weight up into my heels a little bit. All right, push down through your left side and bend that knee and little pulses. And turn the foot in, little pulses. Good, turn the foot slightly out and little pulses. And bring that foot down. Sit back into your chair pose. Let your ankles roll out a little, let your ankles roll in a little. Bring them back to center, press up. Walk out to 2, sit your hips back, nice and slow and controlled. Ankles roll out a little, ankles roll in a little, and to center. Press up, walk open to 3. Sit your hips back, slide your shins back, ankles roll one direction a little, ankles go the other direction, back to center, and press up. Walk open to 4. Sit your hips back, ankles will roll out a little, ankles roll in a little, back to center, and then from here, grab your block, put it underneath your left hand, reach your right arm out and twist open. And then bring that hand down, put that hand back on the block, left arm out to the left, slide your hips back and twist open. And then bring that hand down, press up through your legs, left toes turn out, bend into the knee, warrior two stance. Breathing here. Reverse warrior, reaching up. Reverse triangle, slowly straighten that leg as you reach up, and then tip over two straight legs. Breathing here. Bend into your left knee, hand or elbow to the knee. You can reach up or reach over. And pull yourself up, parallel your feet, rotate your pelvis to fold over your legs, walk back around to your left foot at the front of the mat. Softly lower your right knee down, come on up in your low lunge, make sure your knee is comfortable, extra padding is always a good thing, and lift and lower. Well, I shouldn't say it's always a good thing, but a good thing if you're feeling discomfort. And next time you lift, hold. Pubic bone forward, steady feet here, breathing. Squaring your hips. Good, lower that foot down, tucking your back toes under, push down to step up. So you can do this by a wall, or if you have a chair will work. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. You're just pushing down through one leg and lifting your outside leg and tapping down. Or rather, you can touch down or you can leave it hanging. I just mean tapping down towards your other foot. But one thing you don't want to do is we're not trying to use momentum here. We're not trying to like swing our leg up as high as we can and lean our upper body into the wall. Keep your upper body as straight up and down as you can and just work in the range of motion that you have. And now slide that foot back a tiny bit and lift and lower slightly back. And now slide that foot forward a little and lift and lower slightly forward. Now put that foot down and turn around. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through your inner hip, hug it away from the wall or the chair if you're sideways at a chair. And then we'll lift and lower without using momentum. Take it a little bit back. Take it a little bit forward. All right, turn around again, sit back into a squat, and your inside leg next to the chair or the wall stays, and cross your outside leg over. If your hips shift to the wall or the chair, scoot them away from it. Breathing here. And let's turn around and do the other side. And press up and uncross. Okay. Standing sideways, again, you can have a chair, the back of a chair by your side, or the wall. You're gonna step whichever foot is closer to the chair or the wall forward, and your other foot back quite a bit, so it's more comfortable for your heel to be lifted off the floor. And then you're gonna bend down towards the floor, doing, this is called a monk lunge, and press up. Now, if your feet are too close, what will end up happening is this. See how the knee's going forward? So you've got to have a pretty, careful, a pretty wide stance. I almost slipped on my scarf there. And bend down and press up. And less is more when you first start doing this. So you don't want to feel too much extreme in your legs. Try to keep your torso straight up and down. Keep centering the ball of your back foot. Hold, take your outside arm up and over into a side bend. And then bring that arm down and twist your upper body towards the wall or towards the chair. And unwind and press up and switch sides. So whichever side, turn around, whichever side is closest to the back of the chair or the wall, step that foot forward. Try to get a pretty wide stance with your ankles hip distance apart. And we'll bend down and press up. Take your time, especially at first. And I don't mean just at first if this is the first time you've done it, but especially as the first one you're going in, because you don't know how your body is going to be today. All right, hold, take your outside arm up and over into a side bend, breathing here. And then bring that arm down and twist your upper body. And then unwind and push up and step up. All right, from here, you're gonna grab whatever you're going, actually we'll do a few things before we do this. You're gonna grab whatever you use for a calf stretch, but first stand facing the wall. Cross your outside leg behind your inside leg, or you can have a chair next to you. Take your outside arm up and over, side bend. And then bring that hand down, uncross, sit back into a chair pose. Extend your outside leg as you sit back. Rotate your thigh bone one way and sit back. Rotate your thigh bone the other way and sit back. And then come back up, turn around, inside leg presses down, outside leg crosses over, outside arm goes up and over into a side bend. Relaxing any unnecessary clenching. Uncross, come into a chair pose, outside leg extends long, sit your hips back. Rotate your thigh bone one way. Rotate your thigh bone the other way, hips pressing back. And come on up. So now grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch, put it under the ball of your right foot. Your left foot can step forward any amount. You can do this to a chair or the wall and push your hips back and lean forward. Work more on rotating your pelvis and less on folding your spine forward. And slowly come up and switch. Ball of the left foot up. Heel down, chair in front of you or wall. Maybe the right foot steps forward. Square your hips. Once you fold forward, maybe check again that they're squared. And then work more on the tilt of the pelvis rather than the folding of the spine. Relaxing the lower belly. Breathing. And slowly come up and step off of there. Okay, from here, come to the back end of your mat and face your mat. And then inhale, circle your arms out and up. Exhale, rotate over your pelvis to fold down and walk out to a downward facing dog. Thumbs spread out, elbow pits wrap forward, back your thigh bones up. If you're not sure how far your arms and legs are, you can come into a plank pose and see, and then go up and back. You can come down into a child's pose at any time. Outer edges of the feet straight, backing your thigh bones up. You can even rotate your thigh bones into neutral here. Probably have to push down a little bit more through that big toe side of your foot. Press equally through the palms of the hands. And then slowly lower your knees down. From your knees, wrap your elbow pits forward, ribs up, extend your right leg back, your left arm, reach long. Lower the hand, lower the knee, wrapping the elbow pits, left leg and right arm, reach long. And one more each side, right leg and left arm. And switch, left leg and right arm. Good, come onto your knees, step your right foot forward into a low lunge. Walk your ankle in front of your knee a little bit, bring your hips forward. Hands can come down to the floor or to a block. Just line up your knee right over your ankle and then walk your right foot out to the right a bit. I'll actually turn around at first. So walk your right foot out to the right. And then from here, just roll a little bit. Inner edge of the foot, outer edge of the foot. Very small. And then walk that right foot back in, stand up in your low lunge, step your right foot back, step your left foot forward, ankle walks in front of the knee, hands come down to a block at any height or the floor, walk your leg out to the left a little bit. You can even work on elbow pits wrapping forward, head ramping up a little, and roll from the outer edge to the inner edge of your foot. Pressing down equally through the palms of the hand. All right, heel toe that left foot back in. Stand up in your low lunge, slide your left leg back to meet your right leg. Come onto your buttocks with your right foot in front, maybe 90 degrees. Slide your left knee back, maybe 90 degrees. If this feels like too much, you can do a little bit less than 90 degrees with either front leg or back leg. And then from here, reach your arms out to the sides and let's flip our wrists down and up and down and up, down and up and down and up. Hold up, reach out, turn and look over one shoulder. Hold and nod your head yes. Maybe spread your thumbs out a little bit to the sides. Pause, turn and look over your other shoulder and nod your head yes. Bring your head back to center, let your arms come down and rotate and fold forward any amount. You could bring the block in front of you and put your forearms on the block any height, or you can bring your arms to the floor. But remember, like especially, I don't know the last time I did this stretch, it's been a while. So I'm just gonna let my body adapt slowly because that's what your body likes. I'm not gonna come all the way down, even though that's feels pretty simple for my body to do. I'm gonna let it adapt slowly. I'm just gonna really take care of myself and then I'll add this in the next couple weeks and maybe I'll go a little bit further. And sometimes you'll actually feel more when you don't go so deep in. All right, walk yourself up and we'll switch legs. So left leg in front, right leg goes back, maybe 90-degree-ish. Sitting up nice and tall here in your pelvis. Arms go out to the sides and wrists flip up and down. Reach out through your upper back and chest muscles. Wrists flip down and hold. Right ear goes over to right shoulder and nod your head yes here. And bring your head up. Left ear goes over to left shoulder and nod your head yes here. And bring your head up, and then from there, release your arms and come forward any amount, any height of the block, or forearms down, or just hands down. You can keep your arms long. You can play with your hips. Do they roll all the weight onto the front hip? Can you take a little bit to the back hip? And walk yourself up and come on to your back and give your knees a little hug into your chest. And let's go back to those circles we drew at the very beginning. And then circle in the other direction. And then you are ready for your final pose, Savasana. Stretching your legs long, letting your palms flip up by your sides. Becoming very present with your body and with your breath. Becoming present with the present of your body and your breath. The amazing present that it is. If a dog was the teacher, you would learn things like this. And I think these are great lessons for everyone, even if you're not a dog person. When your loved ones come home, always run to greet them. Allow the experience of fresh air and the wind in your face to be pure ecstasy. Stretch before rising. I like that one a lot. Run, romp, and play daily. Allow attention and let people touch you, of course, within your comfort level. Avoid biting when a simple growl will do. On warm days, stop to lie on your back, on the grass. On hot days, drink lots of water and lie under a shady tree. When you're happy, dance around and wag your entire body. Delight in the simple joy of a long walk. I love that one too. Be faithful. When someone is having a bad day, be silent, sit close by, and nuzzle them gently. If you're ready to wiggle or reach or rock, feel free to move a little bit. And then roll over to your side, pause, take an inhale, take a full exhale. And then press yourself up to a seated position. Bringing your hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste. I see and I believe in the very best in you.